I opened my eyes to find myself spooning with my nemesis in bed. Ethan looped my leg around his waist. Morning, sweetie. Gimme a kiss. Sweetie my ass, kiss what mouth? I'm a guy. I tried to kick him off, but Ethan grabbed my ankle, flipped me over, and pinned me down. You're not satisfied? But you were screaming last night that you were having a blast. 1. Having a blast? What the hell are you talking about? I stared at Ethan's face, which seemed way too close, horrified. Before my brain could even process anything, his lips were on mine, quick but brutal, followed by a lick. Alright, my bad. I was a little rough with that position yesterday. If you don't like it, we can switch it up next time, okay? Don't be mad, babe. As Ethan smirked, the signal finally reached my brain. God damn it. Ethan totally screwed me. He lowered his head, about to kiss me again. I instantly summoned every ounce of strength and kicked him forward. Thump. Ethan went flying off the bed, dragging the comforter with him, revealing 2 completely naked people. I scrambled for the covers, shielding myself. Geez, trying to commit spousal murder? Ethan sat on the floor, rubbing the back of his head. My eyes scanned him inch by inch. His features were as annoyingly handsome as ever, but more mature. A long neck with a few incriminating marks, a sculpted chest and abs marred by some fresh, suggestive scratch marks. Ethan noticed me staring and glanced down at himself. You know, babe, I think you really enjoyed my performance last night. Want a repeat? Wait, I scratched him? Am I even the type to scratch people? No. That's not the point. The point is, I was just cursing Ethan last night for never finding a wife. How did I end up in bed with him this morning? It makes no sense. I stared at Ethan's face for a while, and then it hit me. I grabbed my phone, lit up the screen with my lock screen photo of kissing silhouettes, and checked the calendar. Somehow, I skipped ahead 6 freaking years. Awesome. I put down my phone and looked back at Ethan, my eyes involuntarily dropping to the same spots as before. Damn it, he's bigger than me. So, what's my relationship with Ethan 6 years from now? Serious lovers? Or just really, really good friends? 2. Alex? What's wrong? Ethan must have noticed me spacing out. He knelt on the bed, closing the distance. Nothing, just thinking. How am I supposed to explain this? Tell him I'm from the past? Yeah, right. Ethan gently ruffled my dark hair, then planted a quick, practiced kiss on my cheek, gathering his clothes from the floor and getting dressed. You have the day off today, so don't worry about work. Get some more sleep. Oh, and I have a gala tonight. I won't be drinking, but I'll be home late. Eat dinner without me, okay? Don't wait up on an empty stomach. The casual intimacy, the updates on his plans, definitely lovers. I sat on the bed, wrapped in the comforter, staring blankly as Ethan got dressed, washed up, and got ready to leave. Before he left, he stood by the bed, brows slightly raised, like he was waiting for something. What? Ethan pointed at his lower lip. Waiting for my goodbye kiss. I instinctively shuddered. You've got to be kidding me. There's no way I'd willingly kiss my nemesis. Especially since I'm still naked. Seeing my blank expression, Ethan leaned down and pecked my lips. I tried to dodge, but he held my chin. Ethan's voice was deep and amused. Guess I went a little too hard last night. You seem out of it. I'll start slower tonight, so you can get some sleep. Me. 3. After Ethan left, I pushed aside the strange sensations in my body and went to the mirror to check out the, battle scars. I can't figure out how someone as straight as a ruler ended up bent into a pretzel. I sat there dumbfounded for a while, then grabbed my phone and started scrolling through my photo album. I almost got blinded by the sheer romance. Almost every photo had Ethan in it somehow. Our fingers interlaced, me snuggled in his arms, pulling goofy faces on him, even a sleeping shot of him with total bedhead but still annoyingly handsome, with me giving a peace sign next to his face. I looked so happy in the photos, so in love with Ethan, like a total lovesick puppy. Is this even real? I tossed the phone away, feeling ancient, my mind a blank. I pictured myself getting intimate with Ethan, piecing it together with what happened this morning. Maybe because I was mentally prepared, but it wasn't as repulsive as I thought. Crap. Am I secretly gay? But Ethan didn't seem gay before. After 10 minutes of intense self-reflection, I grabbed my phone again and checked my social media. Turns out, we went public exactly 6 years ago, 1 month after I supposedly traveled into the future. Nemesis turned boyfriend in a month? This world is seriously messed up. 4. After a whole day of processing, I'd slowly accepted the absurd reality of my relationship. But I don't know what to do. I didn't actually live through these 6 years, so it feels weird. Just then, Ethan came home. He traded his shirt for a black suit jacket with subtle patterns, his tie perfectly knotted. I've seen him in so many outfits, basketball jerseys, school uniforms, even nothing at all this morning. But seeing him in a suit like this, my heart still skipped a beat. The tailored suit made him look tall and imposing, his legs nicely encased in the trousers. Damn it, he's hot. Ethan sat on the couch and beckoned me over. I walked over, and Ethan pulled me down to straddle him, my legs on either side of him, his arms tightly around my waist. My body settled into that position way too easily. As I was wondering how to tell Ethan that I'm from 6 years in the past, I heard a soft chuckle. What? Staring at me for so long, you want to kiss me or what? Who wants to kiss you? I quickly averted my eyes from his lips to his amused eyes. After a lot of internal turmoil, I stuttered, Ethan, actually I. Before I could finish, he cupped the back of my head and his lips were on mine. Not like the pecks from this morning, but a real, honest-to-goodness kiss. Ethan held the back of my neck with one hand and my jaw with the other. The kiss made me dizzy, my body weak, almost like I couldn't sit up. My lungs were being squeezed, my vision blurring. Just when I thought I was going to pass out, Ethan lifted me up, spun me around, and tossed me onto the couch, ripping off his tie with one hand. Wait, I need to say something. Ethan gripped my waist, silencing my words. Sweetheart, can't it wait? I reached to push him away, but my wrists were bound by his tie. Me. He's getting serious now. 5. But I never got to explain anything. At the most crucial moment, I closed my eyes, then opened them to find myself back in my familiar dorm room. My breathing was still a little rapid, and the sunlight streaming in from the balcony was blinding. After calming down, I blinked a few times in confusion. I pulled my phone from under the pillow, and the screen showed the results page from the game I was playing last night. I checked my album, no photos of the two of us. Was it all just a wet dream? But if it was a dream, why would Ethan be my fantasy guy? And the kiss felt way too real. After a long moment of shock, I went from lying on my side to flat on my back, tracing my lips with my finger. Smooth, not swollen, no bite marks. I paused, then scoffed in disbelief, shaking my head and getting up to wash my face. While brushing my teeth, something suddenly flashed in my mind, and my eyes widened. I practically ran to my bed and grabbed my phone again. The screen clearly displayed Thursday. But I definitely remember yesterday being Tuesday. I checked the game again and found that my score was terrible, and I'd dropped a rank. While my brain was racing, the dorm door burst open, scaring me. Hey, Alex, you're awake. Come on, let's go watch the show. Our campus beauty is making a big declaration of love. My roommate, Cody, grabbed my arm and pulled me outside. My thoughts were still stuck on time travel, and I waved him away, uninterested. Declarations of love are boring. It's always the same old thing. But the object of her affection is your nemesis, Ethan. My steps faltered. Who? Ethan. The guy you always curse for never finding a wife. But seriously, he's got everything. So many people are lining up for him, but no one's succeeded. Gotta hand it to our campus beauty for having the guts to try. Come on, let's go see it. I've never seen a woman make the first move like this before. My brain froze for a moment. A strange feeling of oppression rose in my chest, and inexplicable anger. I don't want to go. Oh, please, just come with me. If she gets rejected, maybe I can offer her my broad shoulders. Me. 6. The campus field was packed. Cody dragged me through the crowd until we found a spot near the front. Damn, she's going all out. Who could say no to this? Hey, Alex, I always thought you and Jane were a good match. Campus beauty and campus heartthrob, perfect couple. Who knew she'd fall for the computer science guy next door? On the field, Jane stood in the center of a sea of red and white roses, wearing a simple white dress, holding a huge bouquet and gazing expectantly in one direction. Ethan hadn't arrived yet. I pursed my lips. Hey, Alex, why do you hate Ethan so much? You always glare at him like he's the scum of the earth. Did he steal your girlfriend? I gave Cody a speechless look. No. Then why? Actually, it's not that complicated. We've lived in the same neighborhood since we were kids, and we used to be okay with each other. Ethan's a perfectionist, the golden boy everyone's parents talked about. I'm different. I like to have fun and get into trouble. It's bad enough being compared to him all the time, but he always had to mess with me. I skipped class, he snitched. I didn't do my homework, he tattled. I sent love letters, he intercepted. I didn't do well on exams, and he would lecture me with a straight face. We even ended up at the same damned college. Thanks to him, I've never even been in a relationship. Over time, the resentment built up. That's rough. Sounds like he's your mom, sticking his nose in everything. I hate snitches. I frowned. Usually, I'd be the first to agree when someone badmouths Ethan, but today it just didn't sound right. It's not that bad, looking back it's all. You were acting weird yesterday, though. I saw you corner Ethan, practically pinning him to the wall. Was that some new way to mess with him? My scalp tingled, and a wild thought popped into my head. When did you see that? Here he is. Ethan's here. Look. Our conversation was interrupted. I followed the crowd and saw Ethan being dragged forward by a group of laughing friends. My heart skipped a beat, and my fingers curled into fists. 7. What's going on? Why isn't he going over there? Ethan stopped a few feet from the sea of roses, not taking another step, his brow slightly furrowed. The cheers grew louder, but he still didn't move. What's this about? I muttered, he's allergic to pollen. Cody. Ethan asked one of his roommates to go talk to Jane, and her face turned visibly red. The girl in the spotlight tossed her bouquet aside, stepped out of the roses, and stood a safe distance away from Ethan. They talked, but they were too far away to hear. Jane didn't look happy, like she was about to cry. Ethan sighed and moved his lips. Jane's eyes widened in surprise, and she seemed to lose it for a second, mouthing WTF, then looked right at me with a complicated expression. Why's she looking at me? Do I have something on my face? Jane took a deep breath, turned to Ethan, said something, then spun around and left with a flourish, leaving behind a field of roses and gossip. Cody scratched his head. That's it? Did it work? How should I know? But looks like you can offer her your broad shoulders. The crowd dispersed, leaving just a few people to clean up the roses. But Ethan didn't move, just looked over from a distance. His expression was unreadable. I met his gaze, and my heart started pounding, and I had an instinct to run. Cody waved his hand in front of my face. Stop staring, Alex. One more look and I'll think you're going to fight him. Let's go eat. Maybe we'll bump into the campus beauty. My shoulder and chest are always open for her. Under Ethan's distant gaze, Cody babbled as he dragged me away. 8. I didn't go eat with Cody. Instead, I wandered alone to the secluded grove on the edge of campus. Because I felt like my reactions to Ethan were strange, totally different from before. Like a lovesick schoolboy. Ugh, enough. I squatted under a tree, pulled up a blade of grass, wiped off the dirt, and stuck it in my mouth, feeling dejected. Honestly, Ethan's looks are flawless, the kind of face that makes everyone, men and women, want to take a second look. His personality, aside from his need to meddle in my business and antagonize me, he's dependable and reliable. Even though he has a lot of good qualities, shouldn't I hate him? He's nosy, clingy, and annoying. And he's a guy. I can't just become completely gay after a few kisses and almost sleeping together, can I? Maybe I should drink some Chinese medicine? What are you doing here alone? A familiar voice came from above, and I jumped in surprise. Seeing it was Ethan, my heart started racing again. Calm down. Slow down. I tried to look calm, making my tone sound the same as before. I feel like it. Does my walking bother you? Get a life. Ethan ignored my sarcasm, took a step closer, his eyes gleaming. What was it you didn't finish saying yesterday? Yesterday? Cody's words flashed in my mind. Crap. I swallowed and tentatively asked, what did I do to you yesterday? Ethan scanned me up and down. You flirted with me. You pushed me against the wall and touched me all over, and you bit my neck and nibbled on my ear. That wasn't me. Well, not the current me. Oh, and you called me hubby and asked if I wanted to try kissing. Stop. Stop. Don't say any more. I rushed over and covered Ethan's mouth, cursing my fate. Alex from 6 years in the future, what kind of degenerate things did you do? 9. Ethan stared at me intently for a long time, his gaze burning. I've never been so embarrassed, my face flushed with shame and annoyance. He grabbed my hand that was covering his mouth and held it tightly in his. Alex, do you like? I frantically pulled my hand away, cutting him off. No. But you? I said no, so it's no. In my panic, I desperately tried to justify myself, but the words tumbled out without thinking. Don't be conceited. How could I ever like you? Who do you think you are, God? Don't you know? I've hated you since we were kids. I don't want to see you at all. I want to be as far away from you as possible. You, don't come near me anymore. You're annoying. I stammered out the whole speech, not daring to look at Ethan's face, then turned and ran. Ethan stood there, frozen in place. I didn't dare look back, just kept my head down and rushed forward, almost bumping into several people, apologizing repeatedly. I returned to the dorm, my thoughts in a mess, moved the chair, and sat in silence for 10 minutes. My blood slowly cooled. After a moment, I clicked my tongue, closed my eyes, and slapped myself in the face. Stupid mouth, what did you say? You were almost being malicious. Ethan didn't do anything to you, did you have to attack him like that? You look like a dog cornered and ready to bite. I slumped there for a while, then kicked off my shoes, took off my jacket, climbed into bed, and buried myself in the covers. Whatever. I'll apologize sometime. 10. I drafted a 200-word apology speech, rehearsed it several times, and made thorough preparations before going to apologize to Ethan. But for several days, I couldn't find an opportunity. Because Ethan seemed to have taken my words to heart. He wouldn't reply to my messages. He wasn't at the computer lab. If we ran into each other at the dorm, he would take a detour. Like he was avoiding a plague. I was ready to bite my teeth. The 5th time I saw him at the cafeteria, I strode over with my plate, solemnly sat down across from Ethan, and slammed my plate down. Ethan glanced up at me, expressionless, then looked down and started to get up, but I grabbed his arm. Stop running. Sit down. I held my breath, gritting my teeth. Ethan sat quietly, wrist in my grip, not looking at me, just staring at his food. I gritted my teeth for a while, built up some courage, took a deep breath, and mumbled, actually, that day Alex, you're so heartless. Eating without me. The organized language was interrupted again. Cody popped out of nowhere and slung his arm around my shoulder, sending me lurching to the side. I quickly let go of Ethan's arm and grabbed the edge of the table to steady myself. Ethan? Cody's eyes darted around, and he chuckled knowingly. He leaned close to my ear and whispered, don't worry. Watch how your good buddy sticks up for you. No, don't. I tried to pinch his lips, but it was too late. Cody stood tall, one arm around my neck, one hand on his hip, chin raised like a rooster. Yo, isn't that the famous Ethan? No offense, but are the pretty girls not pretty enough or are the games not fun enough? Why are you always staring at our Alex? Are you his mom? Please stop talking. Go eat your food. I reached up to cover his mouth, but he swatted my hand away. Hey, what are you afraid of? I'm here to roast him. Cody crossed one leg like a mob boss and tapped his knuckles on the table. Ethan, you gotta know your place. Just because you're handsome, get good grades, and people line up for you from West Gate to East Gate, doesn't mean you can do whatever you want. You can't bully our Alex. He's a good boy. Alex is under my protection. Help, someone drag this idiot away. In desperation, I pinched the fat on Cody's waist, making him howl in pain. Under these circumstances, Ethan still maintained his composure. He didn't get angry, just stared at the hand around my neck for a few seconds, then picked up his plate and left without a word. Great, another wasted effort. I can't catch up to him. I resentfully grabbed a chicken leg from the bowl next to me and glared at Cody. You're not eating, you're dieting. 11. Ugh. Why is it so hard to apologize properly in person? I sighed for the 18th time today and pulled out my phone, opening my chat with Ethan. /hey, about what Cody said, don't mind him, he's talking nonsense. / I'm sorry on his behalf. Don't take it to heart. I stared intently at the chat box. 2 minutes passed. Great, another non-response. I closed the screen in defeat and buried my head in my food. For the next 3 days, I tried even harder to find Ethan. Finally, I saw him far away on a deserted path. Just as I was about to chase after him, I saw Jane running to Ethan with a bright smile on her face. My steps faltered. Jane leaned forward, saying something happily, then pulled out a nicely wrapped gift box from behind her and handed it to Ethan. A gift? They seemed to be on good terms. But how? Didn't Ethan reject her confession? I unconsciously dug my thumbnail into my index finger, my eyes fixed on Ethan. But then, he accepted the gift with both hands, his back conveying a sense of cherishing and anticipation. Finally, he nodded to Jane. Like a young couple who had just confirmed their relationship and couldn't wait to give each other gifts. It felt like someone punched me in the chest, heavy and suffocating. Are they dating? So, Ethan was avoiding me all these days because he didn't want me to interrupt his date? But I'm supposed to be his. Ethan suddenly turned around, and I instinctively didn't want him to see me, so I slipped into the nearby side road and ran away. As I walked, I stopped and leaned against a wall, my back against the cold surface, my head hanging low. I suddenly felt like I was a joke. Ridiculous. I felt awful. What am I doing? Just as I was looking for something to vent my frustrations, my phone suddenly rang. Hello? Wha? My confession failed again. Why are all the women in the world so fickle? I hate it. Hick, what's wrong with me? So what if I'm 180 pounds? Superficial. Anyone can lose weight and become a heartthrob. Cody. I interrupted Cody, who was howling, and straightened up. Where are you drinking? Give me the address. 12. Scumbag. Ugh. He's not even human. He called me sweetie and clung to me, kissing and hugging me. He ate half the pie and didn't want to take responsibility, then he turned around and got with someone else. How come I didn't notice he was so great before? I was such an idiot, getting played by him. Heartless and fickle. Bastard, Hick, you're such a bastard. I slammed my hand on the table, knocking over a few empty bottles. I picked up a half-empty can and started chugging. Okay, he's a bastard. Cody grabbed the beer can from my hand and kicked away the bottles on the ground. I'm begging you, if you drink any more, I'm afraid you're going to pass out. He straightened me, and I tried to grab the beer, but he blocked my way. I'm here to comfort you, but it seems like I'm the one being comforted. But when did you start dating? How come I don't know? What girl from what department is daring to play with our campus heartthrob's feelings? Do I know her? Ugh, why is this mountain talking? Get out of the way, don't block my beer. No. You can't drink anymore. You almost scared me sober. I'm taking you. Wait, I have a phone call. Hello? I'm at the dorm. Now. Okay, wait for me, I'm coming right away. Crap, my professor's calling me, probably my thesis failed. Alex, who else do you know? I'll ask him to come pick you up. I was being shaken from side to side, annoyed, pushing the mountain's touch away and unconsciously shouting a name. The mountain stopped moving. Are you sure? Is there anyone else? I can still drink. Beer. I reached up to grab the beer, but he held me in place. Okay, I'll ask him to come pick you up, but don't blame me if he dumps you on the side of the road, you told me to call him. 13. I seemed to be awake, and then it seemed like I fell asleep. When I opened my eyes again, the mountain was gone, and there was a tall person in front of me. I squinted. Oh, it's the scumbag. Ethan squatted down and reached out to smooth my hair. Why did you drink so much? Your stomach will hurt tomorrow. I angrily brushed his hand away and started accusing him. You scumbag, don't touch me. Aren't you on a date? What are you doing here? You jerk, if you don't want to be responsible, don't kiss me. You stole my first kiss, how are you going to pay me back? The person in front of me suddenly fell silent, his whole aura darkening. Ethan grabbed my chin and forced me to look at him. Alex, who am I? What a psycho. I broke free and glared at him. Ethan. The person paused, then slowly softened, sighing helplessly. How am I on a date? And when did I kiss you? His question made me suddenly clear-headed. Oh, it was the Alex from 6 years in the future who kissed me. He hadn't done it. I snorted and boldly grabbed his collar, pulling myself closer. Ethan's pupils suddenly dilated. After kissing and nibbling for a while, I pushed him away with force. Ethan was pushed back, his hands on the ground, his expression one of rare shock. Haha, you fool. I crawled over. Just as I was about to start a new round of accusations, the scene suddenly turned upside down. Ethan flipped me over and held me in his arms, one hand around my shoulder, one hand holding my flailing arms. He lowered his head, losing control. Air was rapidly sucked from my lungs, and blood pounded in my ears. I wanted to escape, but my body didn't listen and uselessly struggled. I completely passed out from the violent kiss. 14. The next morning, I was woken up by the sound of running water. When I opened my eyes, I found myself sleeping in a hotel bed with a clear impression next to me. I reached out and touched it, and it was still warm. What's going on? I sat up and found my clothes from yesterday tossed on the floor, and I was wearing a long t-shirt that was clearly too big for me. It wasn't mine, but it looked familiar. Who brought me to the hotel? Was I just picked up? I threw off the covers. Good, my underwear was still on, and my body felt normal, aside from a hangover headache. As I was thinking, the water stopped. I turned and made eye contact with Ethan, who had just come out of the bathroom. What are you doing here? Ethan casually ran a towel through his hair. The plain short-sleeved t-shirt still had the tags on. He tossed the towel back into the bathroom and leaned against the wall. Don't drink so much in front of other people. You're a terrible drunk. Hey, I'm not a terrible drunk. Just as I was about to launch into a powerful rebuttal, some fragments of the night before suddenly flooded my mind. Dragging Ethan around the KTV, insisting on getting a hotel room, grabbing Ethan to take off my clothes when I got sick of the smell of alcohol, and not staying still on the bed, wrapping myself around him like an octopus, kissing, touching, and rubbing. And then? I don't remember anything after that. Well, I'm done for, I can't face anyone anymore. I froze on the bed, speechless for a long time. Ethan walked to the table, pulled another new set of casual clothes out of the bag, and handed them to me. I ordered congee. It'll be here in 10 minutes. Are you dizzy? Do you want to wash up first? Huh? Oh, okay. I took the clothes in slow motion and sheepishly shuffled into the bathroom. 15. The hot water cleared my head. I took a quick shower, cursing myself for the 10th time. How could I mess up so badly? After some intense internal struggle, I turned off the water, got dressed, and nervously walked out. Ethan had set out the breakfast on the table, peeled an egg, put it in a small bowl, and pushed it in front of me. You're done washing up? Eat first. Oh. I ate the meal feeling anxious and distracted, and I was full after only a few bites. Seeing that I wasn't eating anymore, Ethan pointed to the bowl. Aren't you eating anymore? I'm full. Okay. Ethan got up and sat on the edge of the bed, patting the spot next to him. Come, let's talk. Oh no, I'm about to be punished. I shuffled over slowly and sat down properly, folding my hands neatly in my lap. Why were you drinking last night? Because you were cheating on me. I pouted and didn't say anything. Talk. I was in a bad mood. Why were you in a bad mood? Do I have to say that I saw you on a date with Jane? As soon as I thought of that, I got angry again and turned my head away from him. Last night, I seemed to see you at the college. Were you upset because I was with someone else? Why do you care? What's with all the questions? Ethan turned me around inch by inch, staring intently into my eyes. Alex, why did you kiss me? Ugh, this is so annoying. I pushed his hand away and shouted in desperation. Because I **king like you, okay? After I said that, I threw myself onto the bed, burying my face in the pillow. I'm so embarrassed. I don't want to live anymore. Let the aliens destroy the earth. After a moment of silence, there was a chuckle behind me. Ethan peeled me off the bed and pulled me into his arms, his voice gentle and soothing. Yeah, I like you too. I'm yours now. My eyes slowly widened. What did he say? He likes me. 16. I blinked, still in disbelief. After snuggling in Ethan's arms for a while, I poked his chest and pushed myself up. When did you start liking me? How come I didn't notice? Ethan looked helpless. He cupped my face, leaned in, and kissed me gently on the corner of my mouth, then deepened the kiss. Do you know now? I grabbed the fabric on his arm, breathing quickly, a bit hot-headed. Ethan rubbed my lower lip. I've never intentionally hidden my feelings for you. You just never realized it. Huh? I looked up in confusion. But didn't you always hate me, always mess with me? I ticked off the things he did. You caught me skipping class, reported me, tore up my love letters, ruined my chances. Didn't you do all that? Ethan pulled me back into his arms, squeezing the back of my neck. That's just how you see it. Skipping class is wrong, so couldn't I catch you? As for tearing up your love letters, I admit, I was selfish. I didn't want you looking at anyone else. You can only date me. I never wanted to mess with you, I just wanted to do. Ethan lowered his head to my ear, his breath hot, and whispered the last word in a raspy voice. Blood rushed to my head, making me hot all over. This guy is so. But I kinda want it too. We didn't finish it last time. After sharing our feelings, I became a little reckless. My face red, I pulled myself out of his arms, straddled him, and clumsily tried to kiss him. Warm palms pressed against my back, and the increasingly passionate kiss made us both lose our breath. As I was eagerly anticipating the next step, Ethan restrained himself, released me, and pinched my ear. I didn't bring anything today. We'll do it next time. Huh? We're already here. I mumbled, I want. What? I gritted my teeth and pounced on him, biting his throat. I want you. His hands on my waist tightened suddenly, his eyes darkened, and just as I was about to bite his neck, I was lifted up and thrown back onto the bed. As the curtains closed, the room became dark with heat. Two hearts beat faster and faster until they were in sync, wanting to merge into one. 17. I was exhausted. We extended our stay at the hotel for another day. After cleaning me up, Ethan held me, massaging my sore lower back. I croaked, "You're too much. How can you last so long?" Ethan kissed the top of my head. Yeah, it was my fault. Next time, if you don't keep begging me to go harder, I'll be faster. Shut up. It didn't feel like much when he said those things when we were doing it, but now it's so embarrassing. I buried my head in Ethan's chest, and didn't say another word. After that day, I started dating Ethan openly. We ate together, went for walks, he helped me write my thesis, I watched him code, and occasionally we kissed by the deserted lake. Cody felt resentful about me not eating with him anymore. However, when I confessed that I was dating Ethan, his eyes widened and his mouth hung open in shock. He sputtered a bit and couldn't get a full sentence out. I don't know if it was "my roommate's gay" or "my roommate's dating his enemy and I just cursed him out a few days ago" that broke him more. In short, he looked at me and sighed for 3 days straight. 18. A week later was my birthday, and we didn't stay at school. After a bit of wrangling, Ethan put his arm around me and pulled a gift box from his bag, kissing my temple. "A gift for you. Happy birthday." I took the box, and the size and ribbon seemed familiar. When I opened it, I found the handmade cufflinks that I'd wanted for a long time. They're worth collecting. But they were a limited edition, and had been bought up early, so I couldn't find anyone selling them. I paused. "How did you get these? Weren't they sold out?" Ethan traced my ear with his finger. "Yeah, but the person who bought them was Jane's brother. I asked her if he was willing to resell them. Luckily, they were new, and it didn't take much effort." My eyes widened slightly. So, Jane came to give you this gift on the night I was drinking? Yeah. Ethan pecked my nose. And then someone misunderstood that I was dating someone else and ran off to drink alone without asking a question. Luckily, I was the one who picked you up, or I would have had to lock you up. I rubbed my nose. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have acted like that. A warm, happy feeling spread from my heart, and I carefully put away the gift and gave Ethan a big kiss. Ethan, I like you so much. This world isn't abstract at all. Ethan's smile deepened, and he kissed me for a long time. After we finished, I took a picture of our intertwined fingers, posted it on my social media, and then snuggled back into his arms. I scratched his chin. Hey, what if I told you I could predict the future, would you believe me? The arms around me tightened a little. Well, tell me, what will happen to us in the future? I grinned and leaned over him. 2 years after graduation, you'll found a tech company that'll do really well. You'll become a CEO at a young age. We'll buy a house in City A and register our marriage in Country B. We won't have a wedding, but we'll treat all our friends and family to a good meal and receive everyone's blessings. Our parents. I don't know how they'll accept it, but they seem happy. My mom and your mom often travel together and send us pictures. You'll still be full of energy, even though you're exhausted from working all day. You'll still have the energy to mess with me, trying all sorts of weird positions, and you'll still like it when I scratch you. Do you believe me? Ethan's eyes went blank, as if he was imagining what I was saying. Then he chuckled. I believe you. I believe everything. Looks like we're doing pretty well. He caught my finger and gnawed on it, then bit my ear, his voice breathy. I do like it when you scratch me, and I like your eyes turning red like you're about to cry, and I like you holding on to me and not letting me leave. Stop. Don't say any more. I was so embarrassed, and I couldn't stand Ethan's smiling face, so I reached up and covered his mouth with my lips. Satisfaction and happiness filled every corner. I'm so glad that you love me and I love you. 19. Epilogue. Later, I learned that my post spread like wildfire and caused a sensation at the school. The fact that the heartthrobs from 2 departments came out seemed to hit a nerve with the female students. While the girls in Jane's dorm were screaming, Jane was calmly applying a face mask and painting her nails. Look at you guys, I knew it long ago. I even helped them get together. Then Jane was surrounded all night, and all the information she knew about us was squeezed dry. The next day, she went to class half dead with huge black eye circles. 20. Extra. Everything was running on its intended course. One day, 6 years later, I fell asleep tired and woke up in my college dorm room. The early memories were suddenly awakened. I laughed in disbelief. Cody was still snoring loudly, and after a quick wash, I went out in a good mood. Looking at the dorms, convenience stores, and classrooms from 6 years ago, I felt a sense of wonder. I walked around for a while, bought 2 breakfasts, ate my own, and went to wait for someone outside the dorm. Soon, Ethan and his roommate came out. I put my legs down, put my hands in my pockets, walked up to Ethan, and nodded to the others. Sorry, I need to talk to him about something. Then I grabbed his wrist and walked away to a deserted place. Ethan didn't resist and let me pull him. When we got to a deserted corner, I pinned him to the wall, not saying anything, just looking at him with a smile. Didn't you have something to say? What's wrong? I shook the plastic bag of buns in front of him. Yeah, I came to bring you breakfast. Ethan looked at me suspiciously and took it. Thanks. I took a step or 2 back, watching him eat it in a few bites. Geez, Ethan from 6 years ago is so innocent. I felt mischievous and leaned in as soon as he finished eating, running my finger slowly from his throat down to his abdomen. The muscles under my hand tightened. His reaction is so cute. Eh, Alex? I pressed myself closer to him, wrapped my arms around his back, took a deep breath in his neck, and softly called him hubby in a soft voice. His skin visibly got hotter. You? Ethan couldn't say anything, because I licked his neck, rubbing my nose against his skin, and bit his ear, his voice soft. Our skin was so close I felt him trembling. I lingered for a while, then pulled away slightly, smiled, and pressed my lips close to his, almost touching. Ethan, you haven't kissed anyone yet, right? Want to try it with me? It's very comfortable, you'll definitely like it. His beautiful eyes widened, his thick eyelashes fluttering. I couldn't help but laugh and reached out to tap his nose. Let me tell you a little secret. Actually, Alex, class is about to start, we're going to be late. The ambiguous atmosphere was shattered by Cody's boisterous shout. I turned my head inch by inch and saw him waving frantically in the distance. All right. I stepped back from Ethan. Class is starting, I'll go first. Just as I was about to leave, a hand gripped my wrist tightly. What was it you weren't finished saying? Ethan's voice was a bit heavy. I blinked. I'll tell you next time. There'll be a chance. There were hardly any classes in senior year, but after class, my thesis advisor called me back to revise my paper. I'd forgotten everything I learned 6 years ago, and it was difficult to revise. After all the hustle and bustle, it was already evening, and it was too late to find Ethan. So, I wandered back to the dorm. After washing up, I climbed into my single bed and opened my phone, playing a game I hadn't touched in years. I was rusty from not playing for so long, and I kept losing. I got so angry that I threw my phone down, not even quitting the game, and fell asleep. When I woke up again, a familiar moan sounded in my ear, and a hot hand was kneading my lower back. I thought about it for a while. I suddenly realized that this was a continuation of what was happening earlier, and it had magically resumed. I smiled and kissed Ethan, reaching up with my hands tied with a tie to hug his neck, wrapping my legs around his lean waist, and taking the initiative to meet him. After an intense round of messing around, we lay together, covered in sweat, savoring the afterglow. I hooked his chin, kissed his eyelids, and cheerfully asked, "Ethan, do you remember a few years ago when I pinned you to the wall and touched and kissed you, and asked you to try kissing me?" Ethan recalled for a moment. "Of course I remember, I thought you were going to confess to me that day." I laughed and hugged him. "That was me from yesterday. Didn't I tell you I have the ability to predict the future?" I traveled back. "I was so shocked when I opened my eyes and saw you in bed with me." I excitedly told Ethan about my time travel story, and he listened seriously with a smile, not thinking it was absurd. While saying a certain word, I suddenly realized that my love with Ethan was meant to be.